Hi, welcome back to another episode in my channel. Today we're going to cook something, we're going to make something really quite special in my opinion. So you might be really fascinated with restaurants, chefs, reviews, ingredients, that type of thing. And rather occasionally, a great restaurant, its secret ingredient is to use garam masala, its own house blend, garam masala, to substitute curry powder, which is more generic and more plasticky, if you like. So the aim of this video is to make a sort of fusion between a really good fresh curry powder and a garam masala, basically an all-purpose one-stop fix to make delicious curries. Now, if you're going to be using a one-stop curry powder that you're going to create yourself out of multiple ingredients, it's really important to make it to your desired taste. So today this is what we're going to do. It's going to be quick and simple. I have thought about the proportions and my favourite spices while compiling these ingredients, and we're going to look at these ingredients one by one now. So what we have here, why I've I've divided these plates. I want to talk first about making sure that we have the basics of a curry powder included in the recipe. So what we have here, we have about 1.5 tablespoons of coriander seed, and we have just under a tablespoon of cumin seed. We have about 4.5 dried red chilies, and that's your basis of a curry powder, obviously, along with turmeric powder, which we're not going to buy fresh turmeric and dry out, and it's just so impractical. So what we do, we roast these, we blend them, and then we add the turmeric powder next, and that provides the basic for curry powder. So there you have it here. So now I mentioned this is a fusion, so we have quite a number of more stronger, more profound ingredients here that would comprise of the basics of a garam masala recipe, but this is obviously a recipe with a difference, as I've explained. So what we have here, let's start at the bottom, and these are ordered to my liking. I'm not particularly keen on brown cardamom, that's why I've only included a small one, but I do want to get that unique overall flavour, with plenty going on, very multi-dimensional. So everything's in proportion. So as to how I like it, so let's begin. We have 2 tej petta leaves. Now tej petta, Indian bay leaves, some people say they're interchangeable. You can use the sort of Italian bay leaves, but these are from the cinnamon tree. This is tej petta. I'm using 2 of them. You get a really nice subtle taste with them, nothing drastic. And I'm actually using true cinnamon, which is cigar-like and flaky, Sri Lankan cinnamon, as opposed to cassia bark, which is more bark-like and a little bit more perfumey. This is more subtle. So we have, as I've mentioned, there's about half a black cardamom there, very acquired taste, very smoky. I want that smoky element, but I don't want it to dominate. You see plenty of garam masala recipes where they call for like 3 or 4 of them. Because we're only making quite a small quantity to make sure it stays fresh. Because this is going to take me a couple of weeks to use up. I'm going to make some great curries in the future with this. I don't want to make too big a batch to ensure the freshness and the shelf life, basically. And here we have about 7 green cardamoms, no relation to black cardamom. Not sure where they both got the name from, but it's irrelevant. Some people do take the seeds out of the husk. I've got no problems at all with using the husk and blending that up. It's not as flavourful as the seeds, but I just like the idea. I'm not going to extract the seeds. We have about half a blade of mace here. Mace is the outer shell of cinnamon, and just half a blade there. You might see it in the packets. It's quite big. It's the husk of cinnamon. Sorry, did I say cinnamon? I meant nutmeg. I do apologise. So it's the outer piece of nutmeg, you know, the shell, if you like. We have a teaspoon of black pepper. We have a teaspoon of curry leaves. Yeah, because we're going to blend it, we don't need to use fresh curry leaves. So they're dried curry leaves, not as flavourful as fresh, but then again, it would all have been dried out and blended anyway. We have just over a teaspoon of black mustard seed. We have 4 cloves, you know, not too many. I see a lot of recipes calling for a lot of cloves. It's just like, it's almost like an anesthetic, isn't it? Cloves, it do have anesthetic properties. I just like a subtle hint, similar with the black cardamom there. And we have, what I do is we have fennel and we have aniseed, so anise, or if you like, yeah. So they're very similar. So what I've done to get a multi-layered texture going on, you don't really need to use fennel if you're using star anise, but I like to use a little bit. You know, I've got about half a star there of a small anise, and I've got about half a teaspoon of green fennel, and I think they'll make a good combination. And last but not least, I just can't resist adding fenugreek seed. It's just amazing. I just really think you get an amazing, really authentic Indian curry taste with fenugreek seeds. And what we're going to be doing, I've probably mentioned this, we're going to be adding some turmeric later as well. So that's all the ingredients. Quite a long explanation. I have had a couple of requests to explain spices. I might just make a video dedicated to spices. And but one tip, you know, I think we conform really to recipes and other people doing other things and their variations and ingredients when it comes to spices. You know, one day what I did, I actually put a little bit of spice of each in my mouth and tasted it for what it was. And I thought, do I like that? What type of flavour? Is it sour? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Is it acidic? Is it overbearing? So, you know, that's one thing I recommend. Taste your spices. Taste a little bit of cumin, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you know, get a feel for your spices. And then I think it adds to the, you know, the accuracy of creating something amazing that we're going to do today. So let's get ready for the roasting. So we've got a pan that's heating up, and all we do is put our ingredients into the pan. They can all be roasted together. Some people say, oh, you don't need to add the dried chilies. You know, you do. It depends. You know, if they're bone dry, you do. But look, these are not crunchy, so they do need heating up. You know, they do absorb moisture, even though you've got them in airtight jars, etc. So just give a stir. What I like to do to make sure everything's going to be really dry is just, you know, take everything apart a little bit, so you know you get an even heat distribution, or they're floating on the top otherwise. And same with the cinnamon. And just want to stir that on a medium heat. You don't want it to burn. And we're just going to give those a stir for, I'm not going to time it, but I will know when that's cooked enough, because the whole room is going to be smelling amazing and really whet my appetite for some curry making very soon. So let's just give that a stir. We'll come back. While that's heating up, I just want to talk a little bit about Bengali 5-spice. You might have seen this in the shops. So, you know, you've got Chinese 5-spice. This is Bengali 5-spice. It consists of, you know, it slightly varies between manufacturer. You've got some cassia bark, coriander, you've got some cumin, fennel, some dried ginger. But, you know, some people use that. They use it whole. Or they grind it so it's really fresh. So that was, you know, you could have used some of that in here, but that's fine. I like to do it all from fresh. So that's starting to smell amazing. We're going to give that a little bit more time. Give it a good stir. Make sure everything's crisp, and we'll come back to that shortly for grinding. By the way, the Bengali 5-spice is called Panchparan. So that's almost starting to crackle now. That's just how I want it. I'm going to take it off the heat. What I like to do to cool that down really quickly is to transfer it into a plastic container, give it a shake, put a lid on it and shake it. It'll cool down really quick, it'll stop the spices from heating up anymore. We're going to come back to that shortly. So those are nearly cooled down now, they're not hot anyway. I've put them into the spice blender. That's one thing you're going to need. This is a really good spice blender, by the way. It's a Wall, I think I'm pronouncing that right. They make hair cutting clippers, but this is a James Martin edition. For those of you that might not be familiar with James Martin, if you've watched Saturday morning TV in England, he's the guy that actually cooks in a suit. I've always been a bit shocked by that. Do you know anybody that wears a suit to cook? But so we're going to blend that up, we'll come back. So that was blended. I'm just giving it another very quick roast with a quick stir, just to get the last bit of moisture out of there and release some more of those oils. We'll come back in a moment. So that's nicely blended. So what I do at this point, to make sure it's all dispersed well, 1 teaspoon and a half of turmeric. And one ingredient I was thinking of adding that I didn't was nutmeg, but that's fine. And I also didn't add too many red chilies, because you can add chili powder to the curry, you never know who's going to be eating the food, and you know, you don't want it too hot to begin with. So yeah, give it a whirl, give it a good shake. That's ready to be poured into a bowl now. Turmeric's nice and evenly distributed, and I think that second blend, that second roast, really enables you to get a really fine powder. So there it is. Let's have a taste test, and I'm going to be honest. Yeah, those chilies are providing quite a nice initial kick, but it softens out. You've still got that curry powder feel to it, but you have all that aroma of the garam masala type spices. I just can't wait to get cooking with this. Highly recommend it. Kitchen smells amazing, and thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Quite a long video for what it was, but I like to talk food, so feel free to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.